let me thank our Madheswaran for inviting me, because I thought I am sitting here as a odd person, because I see all the ambassadors are here. So I don't know what I will do here with ambassadors. And also after the good lunch, I think I can see half of you are almost closing your eyes. After two people spoke, so I'm in the middle. I'll make you completely sleep now. So that, that's why people always say when you speak in the afternoon, everybody will sleep. You can speak what you want. So I'm going to speak what I want anyway, because you all will be sleeping, so there will be no question for my presentation, so it's good. People are very serious looking like this. I don't know why you are so serious. We are talking about something very important on livelihoods of people, you know. In fact, this topic was given to me by the organizer, especially the Madheswaran's team, to ask me to speak on refugees, displacement, and loss of livelihood. In fact, when I got the invitation, I thought what I should do there, because as I said earlier, I saw this, it's like I have not seen many of them in any other meetings. I am attending several seminars. This is a new group for me. So I thought what I will do. Then I thought, okay, we are working on migration. I think people are thinking when something happened on climate change, there will be something going on. That in fact, several years back, we put up a book called Climate Change, Vulnerability and Migration, because we were looking at it some time back based on our interest after the Kerala floods. Some of you might have seen in 2018. Of course, Chennai floods is very common. Madheswaran should know that. And also tsunami, especially the coastal belt. And people are leaving coastal belt. I'm seeing a lot of fishermen migrating to other countries for fishing, because now it's like earlier we are only fighting for the land. I think the land mafia has moved to the sea mafia. Now everybody wants to control the sea. I can see that we had a strike recently going on in Kerala, because who will control the seas? Fishermen, or somebody want to construct a big port. You know, it's like everybody now want to get into the blue economy. You know, they want to capture the water. I think there is something going on there. So I am going to give you some brief information on the definition of climate refugees and some numbers, which is very, very important for us. And then some impacts, some framework, and if time allows, I will also tell you what to be done. Now, if the time is not there, I will stop there. Now, climate change and refugees, if you look at it, climate-induced migration or migration caused by climate change is mostly understood as the movement of people from one place to the other due to the impacts on anthropogenic climate change. Climate-induced migration is also referred as environmental migration, as they are driven by environmental concerns, and when the migrants cross international borders, they are called as environmental refugees or climate change refugees, though their legal refugee status continues to be in question. When they move from country to country, if they are affected by climate change, you can see that maybe between India and Bangladesh, or India and Maldives, or India and Sri Lanka. And sometimes they are also called as internally displaced. It happens in our own country in India. And migration scholars look at the migration caused by climate change as environmental migration, though environmental migration exists other than climate-induced migration. I think this is something on the definition, whom we call climate-induced migration. I think this is something very, very important for us. And if you look at the number, in 1990, some 20 years back, the Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change noted that the greatest single impact on climate change could be the human migration, with millions of people displaced by shoreline erosion, coastal flooding, and agricultural disruption. Since then, various analyses has put numbers on future flows of climate migrants as something close to 200 million by 2050. Climate-induced movements. And some estimate put that Latin America, Sub-Saharan America, Southeast Asia will generate about 134 million more climate migrants by 2050, while more recent estimates demonstrate how climate change could be a driver for migration that could force more than 216 million people by 2050. People will be moving in and out. Out of this, Sub-Saharan Africa, East Asia, Pacific, South Asia, North Africa, Latin America, Eastern Europe, Central Asia is projected to contribute most of the migrants. Now, climate vulnerable countries like Tanzania, Nigeria is estimated to have the highest number of internal climate migrants. It's not only international, we also have internal migrants. And in South Asia, where climate change is expected to hit worse, where we are all sitting now, where half of the total population have already experienced the shock of one or more climate attacks so far, like floods, like whatever you can imagine on the natural disaster. In South Asia alone, Pakistan witnessed unprecedented floods in 2022, which took nearly 2,000 lives and estimated damage of 15 billion and economic losses. In India, the extreme weather events alone claimed nearly 3,000 lives, destroyed 1.8 million hectares of crop area, damaged 4 lakh houses, and killed nearly 70,000 livestock in 2022. And you can imagine, I think this is something important. We can talk about numbers. I think it's also important if we want to plan for the future displacement issues. And what are the impacts? I think impacts are several: social, economical, and political impact. I think that's why I see a lot of ambassadors are sitting here, because we are not now getting even visas to move between countries after the COVID-19, because I first time heard during COVID-19, all the district collectors were acting like ambassador, because they were all issuing e-visas. It's like ambassador. You want to move from Chennai to Chengalpattu, you have to get a e-visa. So e-visas now replaced by e-pass. So I think this visa regime is going to have much more implication, because somebody swimming from Bangladesh to here because of the floods, what we will call them? We will call them refugees, or we will tell them, how do you provide them visa issues, from other countries? I think we have to really debate who are the climate refugees, what can be done. I think we should think of a very innovative policies to accommodate climate migrants, like the sea erosion, water is coming up, tsunami is coming up, floods. What you will do? They are all people who are, inhabited there. So I think we should look at it social economic impact. So there will be human economic loss. You can see that increasing health concerns we saw during COVID-19. People are coming and selling fish. In Kerala, we said these are the people coming with COVID. We told them they are the, what is called the hotspots, all the coastal belts. We stopped the fish coming in, and we have seen in Kerala, maybe true in other part of the place. Then unemployment, job loss, economic loss. Of course, the politics will be always part of this particular thing. And increasing poverty and inequality. We saw during COVID-19. Increased inequality. I think we can see that. And national and international border security issue. Because even within the country, we are unable to migrate. I remember people used to tell me in 1960s, when Tamilian used to go to Mumbai, they were treated badly. Now, of course, we have graduated. Now they are targeting Biharis. So within the country itself, the mobility is very, 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 very poor. Then there is something happening in like floods. Somebody is running from Chennai to Hyderabad. They say, be there. Don't come even to Hyderabad, and we talk about Kaveri water issue. So I think, this is going to have much more implication. Even you can't imagine in the future, socio-economic, political impact. And look at the policy framework. They also don't know what to do. If you look at it, we have, in accordance with the UN FCC framework, countries creating their national action plan for climate change and the nationally determined contribution under the Paris Agreement. And you have India's national action plan for climate change. You have station action plan, all 29 states and 7 union territories. City and local climate action plan, Mumbai, Chennai. People call smart cities. I call them dying cities. There is no smart cities. Where is the smart? We saw them during COVID-19. They are not smart. They were dying. People were running for oxygen. I have seen in my own eyes in Delhi. So what are we talking about? You talk about smart cities, and smart cities are only dying cities or cities on the water. Water cities, I don't know. You can call singing cities, maybe like Chennai. So I think we have to look at it very, very carefully when you talk about climate change. And even then, most of these do not address or recognize climate refugees. They talk big reports. Like I was reading the economic review of Indian government 7 years back when Arvind Subramaniam prepared the report, Economic Survey Volume 1 and 2. And he came and presented in my institute. He said, there are 2 big chapters with 1,000 pages. He said, everyone should read. I said, I will not read. How can I read? You have 1,500 pages report on India's economic survey. Not even a single word called migrant. You are a migrant from America to India. And your parents are in Chennai. Migrants were not even a single word. We talk too much. But human mobility, we never talk. We are all migrants. Many of us are migrants, and migration is part of our life. But when it comes to migration, we are all, get into politics. It's a very hot topic. So hot you cannot touch even sometime. Nobody wants to talk about migration, even the TECC agreement. TECC always they talk about, why can't we have a, European visa like we have European Union? We don't have a common visas. We don't have common currency. We all talk too much. We have achieved this thing, that thing. But at the end of the day, we are all zeros, not even heroes. We are all zeros anyway. You look at that. National Mission on Strategic Knowledge. This is an official document for climate change to enlist the global community. You can go on reading. The last sentence they say, migration patterns and livelihood of coastal communities. The last one. It's like you are sweet in the end, not the main dish. What are we talking about? So I think the policy is there. It's all in the paper like the Interstate Migration Act. It's like a big tiger, but without a teeth. The tiger walks in here, you all will run. But it is walking without a teeth, you will all play with the tiger. We are all playing with all the acts are like that. We can have hundreds of acts. Finally, the last one. What needs to, I'm not looking at you because you will ask me to stop. So that's a bad thing, Otherwise, I have to walk.
Making some noise also, like.
Okay. Otherwise, I have to walk out like the Tamil Nadu governor. You are not allowing me to speak, I will walk out. So, and with what I want to speak, I have to speak. So, what needs to be done? We can do many things, local, regional, and other things. I was telling this to many conferences. I don't think many of them probably listen to this particular point I am making. Look at these oil-producing, exporting economies, OPEC, which I told even I don't know when I came with you to Russia. Few countries producing oil, they regulate the oil price. They regulate everything. And why can't we together? I was telling to one of the meeting with the government of India, how many people are moving from India to America? The answer is, no data available. You ask any question in the Lok Sabha, no data available. Then I told them, of course, you have no data available. The party also, NDA, not no data available. This is another one. So, no data available is a very good thing. You can always say no data available. But I ask them, how many chappals are exported from India? Yes, we know, sir, 8, beta 9. How many cars exported? We can give you hour by hour. Arey, we are better. I am better than chappals and cars. You don't count me. That indicates we are not interested in migration. Only we talk. We are interested in migration partly because the money. We are getting $100 billion. I think that similarly, when you talk about climate change...
So sometime you may see, sir.
We have to look at it. I am going to stop here. Thank you very much.